Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to ERA, the Sunday Championship, and the second last round of 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Stephen Kerner. Glad to have you all here. We're in for such an exciting trip at Suzuka. It's going to be a great one, a very technical circuit, high degradation, difficult to pass, very technical in terms of driving standard, but make things a little bit more interesting. The championships are so close to one another. It's going to be what I want to keep an eye out for. 130R, always an interesting time for people to pass, and the infamous chicane afterwards that led to a championship decider in Formula One. Go back a little bit of time there, and that will be Ayrton Senna and Alan Prost taking each other out. Will we see that happen tonight? I don't think so. But a couple of our drivers will definitely keep an eye on the field and where everyone is standing. Let's go through our championship status at the moment. Christoph Peterson out in first place for our diamond, followed by Mahath Musa on 100. So Christoph is on 73 points, Mahath Musa on 66 points, Ernest Lundberg's on 54 points, Christian Gok on 51 points, Chris Wall 38 points, 2 points behind him, Sean Skitters, Darius running in 34 points, 22 points for Stephen Milano James, Jude Neville on 20, and Michael Castro sitting on 14. Paul Fenter lying 11th, followed by Thomas Morton, Glenn Smith, Camille Hassan, Jake Holden, and Teddy Blonder rounding out the pack. Moving on to our platinums, it is the likes of David Scruden out in first place, 70 points with Christian Fingler, currently sitting on 64 points in second place. Flo Scub, Ike Sky, Skurt Reynolds, Dave Young, Nico Lawrence, Christoph Rolotsky, Sebastian Robertson, along with Nicholas Cora, Simon Costa, David Roth, Hanzo Foss, and Lucas Collard. Looking at our golds, it is Lewis Knight out at the top with 69 points, Neil Greening 67 points in second place, Federico Calgero running in with 48 points in third, followed by Nicholas Porras, Finn Van Hollen, Milan Starkov, Richard Oakes, Damon Maloney, Liam Smith, Matt Gale, along with Patrick Biles, David Young, Thomas Hagen, Mickey Taylor, Linus Anderson, and Pontus Bowden, rounding out our pack here at Suzuka and our championship standings as we go. But that being said, we're going to pop down to Tim, the cameraman, who is out on circuit, and you can see cars making their way out onto the track. Absolutely stunning. See the drivers going to be having an absolute blast and seeing who's going to be able to claw their way up through the ladder. Who's going to be able to stand on top of the charts? Well, that's going to be a very, very close eye. And a couple of drivers looking to cement themselves as champions going into the end of 2024. Want to get up on the best foot possible for the likes of the championship standings. Going to be a great one for everyone to go. Well, they are on. The outlap drivers are looking to find any bit of temperature into the brakes and tires, get themselves all prepped, and you'll see they'll slow up just ever so slightly, creating a little bit of a buffer between each of the cars to ensure that you have the best run possible. Some, like David Scruden at the moment, busy weaving left to right, trying to set those tires up to ensure that he has a great run. Looking about 3 hot laps as your main goes here at Suzuka. You can get 3 laps in before the timer runs out. Each of the drivers needing to really push as hard as they can to score big points here tonight. This is server 1, essentially our pros that are racing. We do have a server 2 that is up and going. A big shout out to them in the server 2 being a part of it. Big welcome to everyone joining us here tonight at ERA out there in the virtual grandstands. We do see you guys. It's absolutely fantastic to see everyone up and excited, ready to cheer on the drivers as they fight their way through. Lots and lots of tension starting to build up throughout the grid. Ernest Lundberg's looking to really score big here tonight, needing to score big to be able to get into that second place chase down Mahath Musa, who has had some unfortunate streaks at the moment and needs to really try and find that good luck charm that will kick him over to the top spot. Ernest Lundberg, though, in the 488 Ferrari will be on the back foot because it is an older car. Thankfully, BOP in favor of the 488. So expect this to be a bit of a give and take situation for the drivers to ensure that they stand up towards the top end of the field and who will be able to make their way happening for 2024. Lots and lots going on here at ERA, and for those that are interested in a bit of racing as well during the off seasons, there is tons and tons of races coming through. Also, I'm going to just put this out there, there is looks into certain non-GT3 cars in the future. Only way you're going to find out is definitely head over to ERA's Discord. Come and join us for our academy runs. Always fantastic, whether you're pro, whether you're new. Always fantastic to learn something and get your skills up. But also, take a look at some of the racing that is to come. I'm rather excited on how things are growing and the ventures that are going through from ERA. That being said, let's take a look. Dev Scrudon, making his way through, will put in a lap time. Lots of drivers trying to put in some good times. Christian Goch, first one to put his time on the board with a 2-minute 0.6 with the Mustang. He gets beaten out by David Scrudon with a 2-minute 0.4, and Nicholas Cora running a 2-minute 1. But this is now dropping. Stephen Milano James in the 296 Ferrari goes and puts in a time. Ernest Lumbriggs puts in a time to move himself up and get into the fight. As now we're starting to see the 2 minutes drop in. We will see race pace be about 201s, 202s with a full tank from these drivers, and roughly about 2 minute low 201s to 2 minutes being that absolute run, especially in practice. Well, take a look. One person that broke the 2 minutes at the moment, Christoph Peterson out there in the Honda, did a 1-minute 59.7 as the quickest lap time. Mahath Musa put in a 2-minute 0.092, but unfortunately Peterson went and said, thank you very much, I'll snatch that up from you and take away some run for the championship leader. So Christoph trying to hold the crown yet again this time round. We'll see how it goes. Mahath Musa looking to usurp him at the moment. David Scrudon running in third place, is currently first of our platinums. And talking about first, a big shout out has to go to David Roth out there in the grandstands. Can see you all going in support and going in supporting Ernest Lumbriggs, putting in some great times as well. Gotta love our spectators. We get to see you guys out there following us to all the different tracks around the world, and to fly all the way from Kota in Texas to Suzuka in 1 week. It's always great to see the drivers looking to really put their way to the top. Christoph Peterson running in first at the moment, trying to set a better lap time. Mahath Musa currently 0.3 up on his personal best. Michael Castro 0.4 up. David Scrudon 0.5. Ernest Lumbriggs is 0.4 up on his lap time. Ooh, a little bit of a jump on the curb there. Might have cost him a bit as he gets on the power. Final corner, keeping it flat out as he launches his way through. Keeps it tight against the wall and comes across the line. Is it going to be enough though? Puts him up into fourth place behind Mahath Musa. David Scrudon up into second. Mahath Musa's needing to go and really put the hammer down here. Break that 2 minute mark. Is it going to be possible for the South African? Don't quite think so. Is he going to be able to do it? 0.4. And across the line he does with a 159.6. But Peterson gets him yet again with a 159.3, utilizing the toe. So literally just went and took it from underneath him. That's got to be a great stuff there. A bit of support coming in for Darius. And yes, I'll try and say his surname in the final round. I'll ask him. But Swazma's guy has been the running joke for Darius out there in the Audi R8 GT3 Evo 2. And really showing off what he can do. Christian Fengler trying to make up some time. Currently second place of the Platinums, and is a bit off first of the Platinums, but a little bit too close for comfort. Nicholas Cora and Reynolds currently running in 12th and 13th position. First of our golds though is Calgero going and putting himself into 14th position. He's going to have to keep a very close eye on the fight at hand and see how it's all going to work out for him. Drivers needing to really push their way forward and see how it's all going to work out. Darius trying to pick up the pace and get back into this fight. Darius was a championship contender last season. This season, however, has not become his greatest run. He's kept a couple of good charges to the line. Other times, less than fortunate. As we do see, oh, that's Jude Neville, who's deciding to take the dirt road. And unfortunately, not going to be a good time there. Jude going and unfortunately becoming one with the wall with the rest of the LNR team. And we'll have to keep an eye out on how it goes. So Darius doing a fantastic job. Christian out in 9th, 10th place. Jude Neville. Chris Wall in 11th, 12th. Nicholas Cora, who stops out on track. Ike Sky, Stuart Reynolds, followed by Federico Calgero, Nicholas Porras, Dave Young, Neil Greening, Patrick McBalls running in 19th, 20th. David Young, Christoph Rolotsky, Thomas Morton, Hannes Voss, along with Matt Gile. I don't see Paul the Wall Fainter, oddly enough, going and leaving, and also Sean Skitter not here as well. So Sean Skitter also sacrificing a few points right at the end to be able to do it. So this is going to be a very, very interesting one. But a bit of insight coming in from our spectators. Always love seeing a bit of insight. We're talking about the Audi having a bit of advantage, or mid-engines in total having advantage through the first section where it's more like an S. You snake your way around, balance on the throttle to ensure that you can stay for a good run. And the drivers are going to have to really focus on that drive. Tire degradation is going to be a massive factor for a lot of drivers to think about. But interesting to see that there is a loss for Sean Skitter, who's been in such good contention for the diamond category, and unfortunately not going to be able to do it. This is going to open out for Chris Wall and Darius to be able to walk away with a huge victory on their side to climb the ladder. Davis Grudon, though, looking to extend his lead in the championship. If he starts in third, it's a great way to keep on going. Flo Scub, on the other hand, running in third place, and Christian Fingler in second are on the back foot here, and they're going to have to figure it out. But David will be moving up into the likes of Diamond in the very near future. That I can be certain with, as he will be maintaining such a great bit of pace. And that's one thing about ERA. We love to see guys improve, get better, and really stand on top of the charts to be able to get themselves towards the top. But with 4 minutes left of qualifying, it's all or nothing as our drivers look to step up the pace and be a part of all the action here at Suzuka. Second last round of the ERA Sunday Championship. Can you believe it? Nearly 7 weeks done and dusted of nose to tail racing flat through the year. And our drivers having to really get the momentum out and see where they carry on a bit of pace. So now we are going to see how it all is going to turn out for our drivers as they make up a bit of time. Jude Neville trying to pick up 0.2 of a second on his personal best. Late braking as he makes his way through the hairpin. Will be trying to charge towards Spoon at the moment. That's going to be a difficult one. David Young, unfortunately, putting it smack bang in the dirt, being towed back to the pits. Flo Scub, been very impressive for Flo Scub over the course of the season. Missed out at Mount Panorama, made up a lot of ground at Imola, lost out a little bit at likes of Laguna Seca, and made out some ground at Kota. And we've seen this Fast and Feathered become more and more of a fighting chance to be able to move his way to the top. So we'll have to see how this is all going to turn out in our race. Who's going to be able to climb the ladder as we go through here at Server 1 for the ERA Sunday Championship. Essentially the Pro Division. But for those that are wanting to have a burn, we do have a Server 2, which is more your Pro-Am and your AMs out having a great bit of fun. Very close racing between them as well. Championships rather on top of one another. Christoph Peterson currently 0.1 up on the rest of the field as he makes his way out of Spoon. And now down the way towards 130R. Very, very scary corner that you got to keep your power really flat out as we jump on board. This is from the helmet cam. Is it going to be a lift? Holding fifth. Slight little bit of a lift in the turn. but still managing to keep it. You can see immediately hard braking into the right-hander, quick left, and before you tramp on the gas, whole way through, bring the revs right up, third gear, fourth gear, keep it close to the wall, and come across the line. We'll follow him through. Now heading towards turn 1, so keep far left as possible. Late on the brakes, double apex, fourth gear, carry it through, down to second, and onto the second apex. Sun getting in the eyes, gets a little bit of a tank slapper. Makes his way through the S's. First, second of the S's. You can see how the nose wants to drag out, and you've just got to maintain a bit of throttle balance on the way through, a little bit unsteady, as it's not the need to stop laps at the moment. He's trying to go long left-handed, and it is a little bit of a double apex as you come through, keeping it absolutely flat. Nail it onto the brakes. First to the right, cut it quite a bit, guard wide, late on the anchors, bring it nice and deep in as you go under the bridge and stand towards the gas. Now it's towards a hairpin, and Christoph Peterson utilizing the toe, coming off Mahath Musa late on the brakes, sends it into the hairpin, late turn in, keeps it flat on the gas as now they make their way through to Spoon. You can see constant adjustments being made on the car, brake bias, ABS, traction control, whatever can be done to ensure he gets the most power. But Christian Goch puts in the fastest lap time, a 1:59.022. We may see a 58 come in, but Christian Goch with that Mustang absolutely centered for a phenomenal lap time. It's now for Peterson to keep on going. 0.3 of a second on his personal best. Now for the 130R. Keep it trapped, keep it going, flat out, runs it out wide, not going to get track limit there, he's going to have to really hang on to it, braking as hard as he can, down into first gear, quick right, quick left, pull yourself across, and a little bit unsteady there, not the most ideal line, flat out, through the yellow flag, close to the wall, comes across the line, is it going to be enough though, and sends it across the line, not able to beat Christian Goch's time, who managed to put in a 1:59.022. Absolutely blistering for Christian Goch. I cannot believe it. The Mustang finally getting its day in the sun and has done a phenomenal job. Nearly on a 58, folks. If you can't even process how hard that is actually needed to pull off. I dare anyone in these conditions, 28 degrees Celsius track temperature, sunset at Suzuka, dare you try a 1:58.022 as a lap time. Lewis Knight though in the Nissan GTR looking to try and get a little bit of momentum. As you can see, the suspension hard at work over the curbs. In the Repsol colors, a little bit unsteady. That's going to take out the drive and comes across the line. Not going to improve out of that 16th position, unfortunately. Tried his best, but unfortunately not quite what it was needed. Now drivers are going to be lining themselves up and getting themselves ready to race. This is going to be exciting. It's going to be a great one, and drivers are going to be looking to really push their way forward. Now, remember this. If you are new to the world of ERA, let me explain what's going to happen. We're going to set our grid up just as you saw it there, but we do have the likes of success penalties. Now, we don't add weight to the cars. No. We do something a little bit different. We actually apply time penalties. 15 seconds if you came first in the last race, 10 seconds for second place, and 5 seconds for third place. Great stuff. That is your success penalties. Think about this. Adding on to that, if you had any problems, they will add drive-thrus or more time added to that needs to be served. Those times will be served in pit lane. You'll have to pit, get your tires sorted, and serve that success penalty as well. So it's going to be a fantastic run for our drivers to really step up that pace, really think what they need to do. And this is what we love here at ERA, testing what the drivers are going to do, thinking out of the box, how they're going to push themselves that a little bit further and be a part of the race. Do they need to try and figure out to extend their times out on track or do you pit early, get it done, and send it back out? This is an hour-long race, so bear that in mind. An hour long means quite a bit of time to go and have a bit of fun out there, but an hour long can also be a tremendous amount of load to the tires. Now, for many of these drivers, I don't expect to see drivers single stinting tires. We will see swap out on tires. Most, I think, will get to roughly about the 45-minute mark, box tires up, and get themselves going. I think that's going to be the game plan here. For others, I don't really know. You don't want to pit too early. It's going to be a rough one. So let's go down to the track and see as our success penalties are starting to be added. Peterson, 5 seconds added to his time. He will need to be serving that. David Scruton running in third place will have 15 seconds to add to his time. Ernest Lumbrix will need 10 seconds. Stephen Milano James, absolutely tremendous run out at Kota, gets 15 seconds. Scott Reynolds running 10 seconds. Flo Scub getting 5 seconds added to his time. So there is our success penalties coming into play. Now we move down to our golds. Lewis Knight down in 16th position. We'll have 15 seconds to deal with at the moment. And let's see how he's going to be able to do it. Federico Calgero, fantastic drive at Kota. Unfortunately, just not having the legs underneath him, will get 5 seconds added to his pit stop time, needing to serve in that McLaren 720S, trying to push the mark. And Neil Greening as well, getting a 5-second penalty on his run through. So it's going to be an interesting time out there for a good number of our drivers, hoping to really step up the pace and ensure that they can be a part of the racing action. And a lot of our drivers needing to set this up as best as possible. This is when you start communicating to your team back at the pit wall and say, right, what's our plan? What are we going to do? There's been lots and lots of planning. But the one person who's going to be suffering the most, David Scruton, who's done so well in qualifying, unfortunately, 60 seconds penalty. That is an absolute nightmare. 60 seconds is devastating. That is a minute in the pits plus. Oh, man. I'm actually wanting to try and find what exactly happened that he got such a hefty penalty after the last race. Was there a bit of an argy-bargy that he was involved in that took him right out of the contention? Did he take out a few people out of contention with driving? It's rather possible. And unfortunately, it is a hefty one for the BMW driver who's done so well in quali, now having to rethink the strategies in this, or what he needs to do to stay in running contention. Unfortunately, that will take him out of the platinum running. So, give you a bit of an understanding while we got a bit of time here at ERA, what makes us so special here at ERA. We have setup classes. Now, very difficult to get setups done. If you're like myself, we kind of play the guessing game until you hit the wall. That's we get rid of at setup classes. Join in during the course of the week, absolutely incredible. And you have masterclass drivers like Christoph Peterson, Myers Musa, all giving you that insight of how to do things correctly. Racecraft training, how to go side by side, how to go nose to tail with one another. Also, keep it fast and friendly on the way through. Definitely one to be a part of and always have a huge amount of fun to see. All the races are obviously steward, which is great here at ERA for anyone that's loving active competition. We've got stewards that keep us going, and a big shout out to our stewards and admin team that do a phenomenal amount of work in the background. I cannot stress it enough here especially a very active community. We've got our sprint races on a Thursday, and then we've got the championship on the Sunday. We do have a different license progressioning system, which is a little bit different to your usual LFMs that you know, but we've got our rookie to iron From there, you go to a bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and lastly, our diamond. And that is based on how quick you go, what's your average finishing position, your average times as well. So there's so many different ways to upskill oneself here at ERA. Highly, highly recommended. It's going to be a huge amount of fun. Let's go and talk about the race at hand, shall we? Let's take away that little ladder and let's take a look at our grid for the second last round of the season. Round 6 of the ERA Sunday Championship and the second last round of 2024. Can you believe it? Christoph Peterson out in first place with Mahath Musa, his championship rival, lining up on the front row in second place. David Scruton, who will be in third place, got 60 seconds on him, though, and that is going to be a huge climb for him to be able to make up some ground. Don't count him out, though. This BMW driver is rather quick. Jude Neville running in fourth, Michael Castro in fifth, with the Duff beer all written all over the car, and Homer Simpson's favorite of note, Ernest Lundbriggs, is gonna ka-chow out of people's lives, lying in sixth place, with Darius chasing him down in seventh. Stephen Milano James running in eighth place, with Scott Reynolds all the way from America with that bald eagle on the side, will be shouting his way through the Mustang in ninth place. Thomas Morton in 10th, Chris Wall in 11th, Christian Fingler running in 12th. Big shout out to Christian Fingler, one of our admins here that does a huge amount of work behind the scenes at ERA. Lives, breathes, and will die ERA. That is for certain. Unless you offer him a pint or two, then he will include that into the list. Flows Cup running in 13th with Nicholas Cara in 14th. Neil Greening in 15th. Lewis Knight in 16th position in the Angry Weasel, as it's been described in Nissan GTR. Christoph Rolotsky in the Lamborghini, looking to get a bit of momentum. He will be lining up against the one, the only, the Boatley himself, Ike Sky. He's not going to be hanging around. He's looking to take the fight and be that vampire that you will fear. Dave Young in 19th position. Nicholas Cora will be having a bit of fun all the way from France. Federico Calgero in 21st. Patrick Miles, along with David Young. Matt Gall, along with Hanso Foss, one of our Hondas joining up. So we got 3 Hondas on track. Absolutely fantastic. Finn Holland going to chase them down with the Gundam that he has got all over that Porsche 992 GT3R. Milan Starkov running in 27th. Thomas Hagen going and running in 28th with the beautiful livery to commemorate the passing of one of our esteemed drivers here at ERA. Simon Cussat, has already put it in the wall. Not ideal. And that is a broken BM. And Christian Goch riding at the end of the grid. Unfortunately, that is not ideal circumstances. I don't think that was intentional for Christian Goch to lose out. But as we get ready to race, Christoph Peterson out in first, sets the pace, 70 kilometers an hour, and we'll have Mahath Musa lining up side by side, ready to go, as they will be launching off a line. Lights on, lights on, lights on here at Suzuka, and we go racing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, go, go! Christoph Peterson getting the line immediately. Defensive to the center of the circuit. Mahath Musa going and trying to retaliate. Looks on the inside, keeping off the likes of Screwdon. Jude Neville stuck on the outside. Loses out a bit of momentum and will have to slot himself back in to the running as they fight their way through. All looks like it's pretty clean at the moment, as we do see Ernest Lundbriggs all over the back of him. Michael Castro trying to make up some time. Darius immediately closing up that gap. Looks left, looks right, couldn't get past. And then Stephen Milano James, hot on the heels, chasing him down. Scott Reynolds trying to make his way on the move, is running in 9th, 10th place. Thomas Morton at the moment. Jude Neville still on defensive, losing track of David Screwdon ahead. Mahath Musa still keeping the pressure onto Christoph Peterson as they try and make their way through. Tires are still not at optimum, and everyone needing to just figure out what they can do, as we do see Thomas Morton unfortunately get a bit unsteady. And now we'll have Chris Wall going in late braking, looks for the inside, and Christian Fingler, huge look on the inside, couldn't get past Chris Wall, got bottled up. and that had immediately Flo Scup coming and looking on the attack. Flo had to try and figure out where he can go. Nicholas Cora tried taking a bit of an advantage. Didn't quite work out in his favor, but the Aston Martin looks for the inside, going for the lunge again. And this is a huge one. Oh, contact between the two. Will it work? Nicholas Cora picks up 2 positions through Spoon, and that has absolutely gone working his way. He's going to be smiling there for Christian Fingler. This is frustrating, as now Flo Scup yet again looks on the inside, heading through the 130R, late to the brakes, couldn't quite get the nose put in, and makes his way through. Oh, Neil Greening going and visiting the likes of Japan all over, as we see Ike Sky going and closing up. Christoph Rolotsky, Lewis Knight feeling the pressure of Dave Young constantly on the back of him. Nicholas trying to close up as he sees Dave Young getting a little bit unsettled, and will continue the pressure on as the grid makes their way through. Not much has gone on in terms of heavy contact, but drivers have definitely been pushing as hard as they can. Thomas Morton trying to get a little bit of a fight as we see Stephen Milano, James side by side with Chris Wall as they make their through the S's, and just managing to creep on by. Chris Wall leaving a little bit of room there, not enough to keep a breath in, but definitely want to keep that nose firmly planted on the inside and say, hey, listen, I'm coming for you, buddy. Don't get your foot off the gas. You're going to lose out. Christian Fingler fighting out with Flo. Flo up on the inside, going to be stuck on the outside, into the double right-hander, late on the brakes. Oh, Lamborghini, a little bit of elbow to elbow there. Flo loses a bit of drive, and that backs him up into Neil Greening as they make their way through. So we are seeing a bit of contact between the couple of drivers. Christian Goch loses out a bit of momentum as Simon Kussert making his way through. Remember, Simon took a lot of damage on the early portions of the race. Matt Guile, though, goes and runs out wide, loses out to Federico Calgero, and now has Dave Young all over the back of him. So there's some great racing, but some nerve-wracking moments for a lot of these drivers. And Matt Guile tries to look for the inside, late on the anchors. Can he go for this in? Tries his luck, couldn't get it sorted out. A little bit of contact from Dave Young behind him in that Porsche, just leading in on that left-hand side through the Spoon. And now it is all about straight line horsepower. Federico Calgero not getting the best drive side by side, immediately moves to center of circuit. 130R, it's going to be rough for Matt if he stays where he is. A little bit of contact with Federico Calgero. They're both leaning on each other. Federico stuck on the outside. Matt slides across the nose, gets it hooked in, and take a look at Dave Young trying his luck as well. Loses out the drive, and Milan Stokov keeping the pressure on to the back of him. Absolutely great running. Michael Castro all over the back of Ernest Umbriggs, loses out the drive. Darius says thank you very much with that RDR8. Can he keep it going though? Needs to go side by side, holds the apex for the second S, gets it beautifully done, gets ahead of Michael Castro. Now it's all about just throttle management the whole way through. Chris Wall dealing with the likes of Nicholas Cora all over the back of him, trying to keep the pressure up. Christian Finger trying to break the toe of Flo Scup at the moment as they make their way around the circuit. Remember, they've got a mandatory pit stop that needs to be served during the course of this race. Christian Goff all over the back of Simon Kussert has got the straight line over the BMW, but just not getting the cornering. Christian Goff set in a phenomenal lap time during the likes of qualifying, but for whatever rhyme or reason, he's tapered right off and now is having to fight it out with Patrick all over the back of him. Patrick's going to keep the pressure on in the Red Bull colors. Michael Castro side by side with Darius, looks for the inside, not going to quite work out here. The Audi's going to have the advantage through Spoon, a little bit more balanced compared to the likes of the Honda, but definitely put in that fight. Now it's time for the screaming V10 to break away from the turbocharged 4-cylinder of the Honda NSX that has gone properly fighting. The Honda NSX has won championships in the past as a manufacturer, so has Audi, and we have got two absolute pros going hammer and tongs at one another. Michael around the outside hooks it in, and Darius had no answer for that as he has to feed the power on to try and chase through as Michael Castro up into 6th place. Darius has got the momentum. He's going to have to give it everything he's got as we go on board with the likes of Darius, hoping to carry a lot of momentum through. He does get ahead of Michael Castro, runs up very wide though, and Michael gets the hook in. He's happy with that and carries on the momentum. Scott Reynolds feeling the pressure of Thomas Morton right behind him as they fight their way through. Now going through the S's, got to be very, very careful. Rather ginger on the way through. Mustang starting to show a bit of understeer creeping in as we see Federico Calgero just getting it all out of shape behind the likes of David Young, who's doing a phenomenal job, and Christian Goch now gotten past Simon Kussat, is onto the back of Federico Calgero and pushing as hard as he can to make up that little bit of time as they launch their way through. Some phenomenal racing, some difficult times for a lot of our drivers, all seeing what they can do. Christian up on the inside, gets a pass on Federico as we do see Rolotsky, unfortunately, off the circuit. The 72 now going to get swallowed up by the field. What on earth happened to that Lamborghini? Let's quickly take a look as he was making his way through. So Ike Sky and the Bentley ahead of him, all going just fine. Gets his way through on the grass, unsettled, tries to catch the fishtail. Oh, drop that left rear into the dirt, spun round. Oh, in contact with the likes of Chris Wall, who was just going and passing on by, and unfortunately couldn't do much there. So both taking a bit of damage to their cars. That will need to be a bit of repair, especially for Rolotsky at the moment. That nose taking a big hit, and on the Lambo is definitely one that's needed. Flo Scub and Christian Finger going and fighting it out. Christian going and leading him for the fight. Neil Greening going to show a bit of South African envy into it. And these two are hammer and tongs. This is a brawl, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't just your racing action. They have taken the gloves off. They have taken the tags off. They've stepped out of the doors of the bar and they said, come, let's get going in the parking lot where no cameras are. And they are fighting it tooth and nail. Flo Scub and Christian Fingler. I think these two are hammering their tires. Ike Sky managed to get the pass of Neil Greening, who got himself also into that fight, trying to push for a pass. Unfortunately, didn't work out in his favor. That allowed Ike Sky to get past and Lewis Knight to close up on him. But the monster fight currently out on track. Christian Fingler and Flo Scub still going to give it everything and got. Rolotsky, Christian Goch, and David Young trying to make up some time as well. Those are our closest fights currently on circuit and needing to push themselves out a little bit more. So we see a little bit of a bottom out for Flo Scub as he tries to close up that gap as fast as possible. Christian Goch making his way through, trying to get that nose just to taper in a little bit more and get underneath the likes of Rolotsky as they make their way through. It's going to be the hairpin. Rolotsky goes on the outside and goes late on the anchors. And Rolotsky, unfortunately, going to lose out. He was trying to get past Matt Gall. Matt's a bit slow. And Federico Calgero, losing out a bit of momentum, goes and loses out. Lon Starkov loses out to Simon Kussat, still carrying the damage. And Patrick Barr still onto the back of him with Flynn Van Holland doing everything he can to stay in for the fight. Simon hoping to reclaim the position. Looks underneath the likes of Federico Calgero. Can he do it though? Tries to get it through the spoon. He does so. Calgero loses drive. Side by side they go, charging down, heading to 130R. And take a look at Milan Starkov. Absolutely going to put the send in as well. It is going to be 4 wide. Not going to happen though. Calgero off circuit. Oh my heavens. And that is Flynn Van Hollen properly gone off into the distance. That is a Gundam that ran into the Earth Defense Force in a hurry. Well, no. He's part of the Earth Defense Force. He went for the Space Defense Force. He's first in the Space Defense Force, if I remember correctly. Those are the guys with the one-eye robots that are just really, really cool. He's got the Earth Defense Force one. Either way, plasma weapons for the win. As they make their way through, some phenomenal racing from our drivers as they try and push the boundaries that little bit further every step of the way. Rolotsky, David Young, now on top of one another. We'll have to see what they can do to get past Matt Gall, who seems to be a little bit slower through the hairpin on this, and it's all about lining him up, and you can see the understeer of that Mustang starting to become worse and worse as time goes on. Track temperature 27 degrees, not too bad. And David Young looking around the outside, not going to get the momentum through. Going to go late on the anchors, try and bring it back and see if he can continue on the charge. Rolotsky taking a little bit easier on the momentum through. So drivers are needing to make their way. As we are now into 11 minutes, let's go through our grid as it stands. Christoph Peterson out in front, 2.4 seconds. Remember, he's got a 5-second penalty. He needs to serve in the pits. Maeth Musa in second. David Scruton, first of our Platinums, running in third place with that 60-second penalty. That is going to be a nightmare. Jude Neville running in fourth. And fifth place is the likes of Ernest Lundbrix, as we do get notice from Christian Fengler losing out to Ike Sky and Lewis Knight. Lewis Knight is on the charge. Sky goes for the defense. But what happened to old Fengler? He went and lost out a huge amount of time. So let's go to our helicam. There's Flo Scub behind him in the Aston Martin AMR V8. And that is the Fast and Feathered that's on the back of him. Oh, Christian gets it out of shape. And here comes, oh, bit of contact, unfortunately. And Neil Greening having to take evasive maneuvers as well. Christian gets it hooked sideways, lost that momentum. Damage to his nose, so Neil Greening is going to try and look to get on by. Has got a little bit more bite in the nose. Christian trying to recover from that slide. A very slow slide that kicks in and lands up with you sitting on the traction control. TC2 to be exact. That is your, no, that would be TC1, because TC1 slip. That is your left and right. TC kicks in. The traction control stops you from moving left and right. And then you've got your gain, which is TC2, which is forward and back. He sat on that TC1, sliding, and it's a horrible, horrible death slide that you get, where it's just dropping those revs and you can't pull out of it until it slows down to a grinding halt and you're able to get your way through, unless you just turn that TC off and just let the car do what it needs to do. But his tires are going to be through the roof on that one. That little bit of contact up against the wall is definitely going to take that straight line bite out of the Lamborghini Bull. Unfortunately, having its horns going and shaved off just ever so slightly. So as our drivers make their way through, considerations for pit lane is going to be on the cards here. Who's going to be able to take any advantage possible? What's going to happen? This is all lots and lots of questions on the way through. And we're getting some information from Thomas Hagen. Big shout out to Thomas Hagen. Going and saying Christian Goff got an internet disconnect, and that was the reason for him going and dropping down the position. So huge shout out to Thomas Hagen, giving that insight from the grid and giving us a bit of a reason why that Christian Goff went and dropped out so far in the running order. This is what I love about our spectators, our wonderful, wonderful spectators. They give us this personal insight, that lean in. And Thomas, huge shout out to you, doing the absolute best, giving us a bit of insight, because usually here in the commentary box we lose out a lot of that connection to our drivers, but it's always our fans out there on the track, in the grandstands, on the pit wall, giving us that insider's information. Stephen Milano James all over the back of Lewis Knight. Remember, he's done a fantastic job at Kota, and now trying to make up a bit of time, lying in 14th position. Not ideal circumstances for him, as he's lost track of the running pros ahead in that diamond class. So he's fighting it out with the likes of Lewis Knight, who's in the gold division, looking to walk away with the championship here. It's going to be hard stuff for him. Christian Fengler, outbreaks himself terribly. And now we'll have Neil Greening onto the back of him. Dave Young also following suit as well as they fight their way through. Neil Greening keeping very, very close. Dave Young having to get very defensive as Nicholas tried to have a look, and Christian Goff unfortunately caught in the back of that Constantina, had a hurt. Oh no! Federico Calgero into the dirt, and Simon Kussat gets it in the nose as well. That is not ideal for both drivers. Let's go to our helicam and see what exactly happened out there. So Federico Calgero gets the drive, gets the pass around Simon, who loses out through the hairpin, late brakes, and just a wheel on the dirt. And that's all she wrote, into the hairpin for the likes of Calgero and Simon, who has just had a nightmare of a run, but is still going. Shout out to the drivers that are going and fighting their way through. I mean, this has been some incredible stuff. Perseverance on the drivers is incredible for everyone to try and get their way through. I always say, get across the line. It works out better for you. You don't know where it's going to end up in the race, and that is going to be the running order. Lewis Knight losing out to Stephen Milano James. Christian Goch running out a little bit of time to Nicholas Porras as it stands. So drivers all trying to get the climb. But let's go back up to the sharp end of the field. This is our top 5 having a good fight. Ernest Lundbriggs in 5th position, onto the back of Jude Neville in 4th. The Logistical Nightmare Racing Mercedes AMG GT3 now looking to fight against the older car, the Ferrari 488 Evo, and absolutely tremendous stuff. Between the 296 and the 488, personally, 488 looks better, and it's got that screaming V8 in behind it versus the V6 with the asthma pump attached to it, the turbocharged V6 of the Ferrari 296. Christian Fingler all over the back of Lewis Knight, can't get the pass done and dusted. Neil Greening onto the back of him as the Scott's treatment train still goes on. Interesting enough, 42-minute mark has come by. Not a single car has decided to go into the pits. Takes away my thought process of the 45-minute mark. So everyone looking to stretch those legs a little bit further, try and wear down the tires a bit more, because once you get in, swap tires, put fuel in, get out and get going for the rest of the race, keeping that momentum. The sun is setting and becoming extremely brutal on the drivers. Take a look at Christoph Orlowski. There's a good one. We're going to jump on board. Helmut Cam heading down towards 130R. He's very, very close onto the back of Matt Gall, and will be pushing as hard as he can. Orlowski trying to keep within the toe through the 130R. Quick into the left hand, carries a lot of momentum through 5th gear, keeping it planted and hard on the anchors. Tries to bring it back, runs out a little bit wide just so he doesn't have any bit of contact. Can see David Young try and close up, and as we get into that sunset, tank slapper coming out of the Lamborghini and will hurt him out there. David Young into the pits though, opting that he's not going to get caught out. And this is where the sunset starts to become a bit of a problem. The reflections on the circuit also become a bit of an issue as they make their way through the S's. This is going to be staring right into it now, as our drivers have to focus their way through the S's nice and gently as time ticks over. The track becoming more rubbered in, more grip coming to plan, as everyone having to really push that a little bit more, as Rolotsky tries to carry a bit of momentum through. Unfortunately, Matt keeping it all together in that Mustang is not backing down from the fight. We'll have to see how it works out on the way through. Questions that are going to start arising is who's going to be having the lovely drive-through penalties, as we see that beautiful sunset here at Suzuka shining right into the eyes of the drivers as they beg for mercy from the sun skies shining over the likes of Suzuka. So Dave Young completed his first pit stop. He's going to be back out on track, but down in 29th position. So don't count him out. It's going to be a hard work for him. Flint Van Hollen, though, we've seen him had a bit of a rough race. He's against Thomas Hagen at the moment, having a great charge and trying to make his way through. The BMW driver now having to keep a defense against the Gundam of the Porsche 992 GT3R of Flint Van Hollen. The Windrush Racing tried its luck, unfortunately couldn't quite get it all hooked up and runs out a bit wide now on the way through. Christian Goth onto the back of Dave Young, with Nicholas Porras onto the back of him. Dave Young in the Logistical Nightmare Racing Aston Martin has got Christian Goth in the V8 of the Mustang GTD, which will be GT3, GTD, same thing, as depending on whether you're watching SRO, WIC, WEC or IMSA at that point. GTD, all of it pretty much the same thing. Beautiful swung neck rear spoiler that carries on through. The engine dropped as low as it can and as far into the cabin as possible to try and give it that more of a mid-engine approach, where Dave Young out in the Aston Martin, that is a bit of a hybridized in terms of thing, uses a Mercedes V8, the same that you find in the Mercedes AMG GT3, the first version, not the Evo, and really had a good run, but it's all on the nose, overhanging the suspension. It's on top of the front suspension, now having to battle it out. Oh, no contact between the two, and oh man, into the wall. That is unfortunately not ideal. Ran in with Christian Goff, putting that pressure on the back of him, a slight tap, and drives it hard into the wall. Goff sliding the car around. Now Nicholas Cora, seeing that, is going to go, okay, well, I need to capitalize my advantage here. And Nicholas Porras as well, going to be scratching their heads thinking, how can I get this done without landing up in the exact same circumstance? So Nicholas Cora and Nicholas Porras will be thinking about their strategies as we do go around Nicholas Porras, around the outside. Cora looks to try and go side by side, so Porras is going to have to really keep it absolutely trapped all the way through in that beautiful, beautiful total livery, and actually won that, the same livery that landed up on the Aston Martin GTE for a good number of years, and carried over to the GT3 that we see out on track, the 2019 chassis, versus Nicholas Cora in the 2020 Mercedes AMG GT3 as they make their way around the circuit. So good running between the two. Ernest Lundbriggs all over the back of Jude Neville as they're fighting still for that fourth position. Jude Neville keeping it very, very clean, keeping up a good bit of defense, holding the apexes. But Ernest Lundbriggs is one of these aggressive drivers who will put his nose in like he's done now. Unfortunately, slightly offline, looks for the undercut, couldn't get it all sorted out as we jump on board with him as he powers his way through. You've got to love these helmet cams. Gives you a better perspective of how much steering input the drivers are needing to do late on the anchors, down into first, through the hairpin, powering on, move it quickly up into second gear, carry it to third, carry it to fourth, as you start making your way towards the spoon. And you can see that sunset bleeding through a little bit more now, as it will start to interfere with the drivers. Thankfully not on the brake markers as it stands, but it will be a bit of an interference for the drivers to figure out what they need to do. Going a little bit further back though, like Sky having a good run with Stephen Milano James as they made their way through the hairpin, and Sky holding the position. Stephen Milano James is going to try and push a little bit harder and try for the inside. Remember, two different classes at the moment. Ike Sky fighting it out for fourth position of the Platinums, while Stephen Milano James way down the order of the Diamond class. Lewis Knight, who is in 14th position, lying right behind them, is first of our Gold class and is duking out with Christian Fengler in our Platinum class. So it's always great to see. And this was always a bit of a wonder of mixing the classes. There was a bit of a concern, an air of wonder of, is this going to really work out, having our diamonds on the same track as the gold? Well, I can tell you with absolute belief, seeing last season, this season, of them all combined is just incredible, incredible stuff. And drivers need to push themselves out a little bit more, being a part of the show and hoping to keep up a bit of momentum. But taking a look over to the virtual grandstands is actually Paul Fenter. Oddly enough, one of our drivers that fights it out in the Diamond class, this time taking a bit of a back seat as he's been getting a little bit of the South African heat, taking a lot out of him. And also with the little one, trying to get him all sorted out. So maybe we can get Paul Fenter in for a little bit of a chat to give his side of the story of the entire championship as total of what it was been like to race against these absolute pros, and supporting the Logistical Nightmare Racing team as he is the head of the Logistical Nightmare Racing, and really trying to see how it goes. Lewis Knight going to go side by side. Neil Greening stuck behind Christian Fengler. May have got a bit of a rough run here as Fengler holds that inside line. Lewis Knight tries to have a bit of a look. Fengler runs out wide, carries a lot of momentum through, and will have for a bit of a run. So we are getting word though that Paul Fenter getting a bit of repairs and changes done to his rig, and that is why he is out of tonight's race. But still fantastic to see the sport bleeding through, that's for certain. Paul, if you're more than welcome, come through to the commentary box and give us a bit of insight on how the team have been feeling with ERA and how the championships have been, because this has been some incredible racing throughout it all. Enough, just the level of skill has definitely gone up. Christian Goth runs around the outside. Neil Greening trying to do his luck, and Goth getting the pass on Lewis Knight. Beautiful send on the way through. Gets it done and dusted. Christian Finger deciding to get in the pits after fighting it tooth and nail. Christian Goth lining himself up. Neil Greening holding the inside line, going to be battling his way around. And this is going to be a huge run for Christian Goth. Remember, he disconnected after such a stellar run in qualifying. Got himself onto the podium. And unfortunately, Internet decided not today and put a huge amount of work on the Mustang driver to try and claw his way back into the fight. Ernest Lundberg still over the back of Jude Neville, as we starting to see more and more of those pit stops creeping in. Christian Fingler, Milan Starkov, all pulling into the pits. Thomas Hagen, David Young, Christoph Rolotsky, Federico Calgero, and Dave Young, who is sitting in the pits. No, Dave Young is back out on track after the huge impact. Good to see him back out on circuit after that absolutely monster of a hit into the tires. But always good to see the driver back in there, pushing as hard as he can, being a part of the show. Gotta say, the perseverance is something you cannot take away from these drivers. Whether it's win, lose, or draw, these drivers are willing to lay it all on the line here for the finals of 2024 for the ERA Championship. After this is one more round, and that will be going next week. But we have still got so much racing as we're nearing the halfway mark. Only 1 minute and 47 before we hit the halfway mark, and still a lot of our drivers needing to pull into the pits. Christian Goth flashing lights, letting know Neil Greening, listen buddy, I need to come on by. I'm going to properly give it a send on you if it's not to be. And remember, Christian Goth up on the inside, and I think Neil Greening got the hint there of let me by, I want to go chasing. Stephen Milano James on the back of Ike Sky as they charge their way across the start-finish line, and that big Bentley still running in for a fight. Stephen Milano James not going and losing out of the run. Ernest Lundberg's all over the back of Jude Neville, looking left, looking right. Piers on the inside. He's going to not have the advantage in through the double right-hander. That is allowing Michael Castro. Don't take away from that little Honda. Slowly creeping in, becoming a problem for both drivers as he's keeping it the most consistent at the moment, not having to worry too much on the run. Remember, likes of them, these three drivers don't have to deal with David Screwdon all too much because he's got 60 seconds in the box. So long as they can keep close enough, they'll be able to go and fight their way towards the sharp end in the field. Always exciting times, always a difficult time. We'll have to see our drivers pushing themselves that little bit further up through the order. Going to be a difficult time nonetheless. Flo Scup onto the back of Skirt Reynolds after losing out a bit of time, and yellow flags for Christian Goch, who's unfortunately the 898 going and getting turned round. Let's go to Tim in the helicam and find out what exactly happened to the Mustang that was on such a beautiful charge as he comes round, trying to get round the LNR. And is this going to work? Oh no, that is contact. Contact again, twisted around, up against the 129. Oh, that is Dave Young taking a tremendous beating. A yellow flag's coming up for our drivers exiting the pits. And there's Lewis Knight rejoining the race with Flynn Van Holland onto the back of him. So this is going to be a huge run. So, drivers now getting those pit stops done and dusted for the run through And we're getting asked quite a few, all sorts of questions coming through. Ernest Lundberg's all over the back of Jude Neville. David sitting with that 60-second penalty. All we could say is when you go for a right royal send, if you're going to be postman Pat, best make sure you do the delivery properly and not going and running over the cat on the way through. Don't be postman Pat driving over his own black and white cat. That's all we can say on that through, with a 60-second penalty added on. But has really shown off such a phenomenal pace. But Ike Sky now needing to just keep the momentum up. Interesting enough though, our top 11 are still yet to pit. Everyone else is still keeping a good bit of momentum as they charge on by, not losing out any momentum, and will be focusing on the charge. Remember, the time penalties, success penalties have started coming into play for many of our drivers that will have to figure out the long, hard race in this. Ernest Lundberg's all over the back of Jude Neville. These two have been at each other for now well over half an hour. For 32 minutes, they have been nose to tail all the way through. Absolutely incredible stuff. But who's going to be pulling into the pits? David Scrudon's into the pits. Jude Neville's into the pits. Ernest Lundberg's is into the pits. And Michael Castro, as we do have a bit of a pile-up as well. Drivers getting a bit caught out with the pit lane. Mahath Musa into the pits. But Christoph Peterson, on the other hand, going to stretch his legs a little bit further. He's not going to be diving into the pits. Neil Greening, Ike Sky, will you be pulling into the pits? Christian Goth, maybe into the pits. We'll find out. So let's take a look at Ike Sky refusing to pull in the pits. He's going to go that little bit further. Neil Greening next to come around, and also going past pit lane. Christian Goth going and hammering it all the way through. Is he going to pull into the pits? Don't think so. Oh no, yes he is. He's pulling into the pits, deciding that enough is enough. Gets himself into the box and will be sorting it out. So currently cars out on track that haven't pitted. Christoph Peterson, Darius, Ike Sky, Neil Greening are our 4 remaining drivers that haven't got themselves into the pits. So they are trying to extend that gap a little bit further. Mahath Musa, 32.2 seconds in pits. That means it's been a tyre change and a bit of a refuel as he looks to set to charge down the likes of Peterson. That's running the fastest lap time of the race, 1:59.9. Remember, our fastest qualifying was a 1:59.058 that was set by Christian Goff on the way through, and absolutely decimated the field. Unfortunately, he's on a huge climb back up towards the sharp end of the field and will need to really hang on it. Chris Wall, all over the back of Ernest Lundberg's, kicks up that right front as he tries to take as much curb as possible, and really leaning onto Ernest Lundberg's at the moment, hoping to try and let that car go and snap out underneath him. It will have to be a proper chase all the way through. Nicholas Cora onto the back of David Young as they are now racing to the end. Christoph Rolotsky onto the back of Patrick Bars, who's in the Red Bull colours BMW. Christian Finger all over the back of Matt Gall as they try and push their way through. David Scrudon a little bit further down, remember, has served his penalty as onto the back of Milan Starkov. But Lewis Knight, who is looking to try and fight it out for the championship, got it wrong, off the pit limiter too early, and gets a 30-second stop-go penalty. That is devastating for his one and takes him really into a difficult part of his championship now, because from leading the championship with 69 points to Neil Greening 67 points, well, Neil Greening has got everything to play for at the moment as he pulls into the pits and sees a championship rival ahead of him and looking to try and get past him to score those points and usurp in the second last race to ensure that he stands at the top of the podium heading into the final race of the season happening next weekend. Stephen Milano James getting a pass on Nicholas Bora, and Christian Goff also slides his way through nice and neat as they get their way through. Christian Peterson and the likes of Dave Young still needing to pit Peterson needing to just get himself sorted out. He's got 5 seconds, remember, when he gets into the box. Mahyth Musa is 63.9 seconds there behind him. So, depending on how this pit stop goes for the likes of Peterson, it may make or break his race. But 23 minutes left. I do think he's going to be going for a set of tires. I don't think that they're going to be hanging on for this long. And Mahyth Musa is going to be the next one to keep an eye out for as he's through the hairpin, heading towards the spoon. Going to be close. Going to be very, very close between them. Peterson served his 5 seconds. As we see that success penalty come off. When is he going to come out? Musa around spoon though. Keeps the hammer down. But I don't think he's close enough to Peterson. And Peterson will be able to exit the pit successfully ahead of this BMW as he makes his way through. Mahyth Musa trying everything he can, and this is going to be a rough one. Peterson still waiting. Mahyth Musa has a chance here. It's going to be close though. These two are going to be on top of one another. Musa through the chicane. Peterson off the jacks, gets rolling as Musa keeps the power down. It's going to be venturing into turn 1. Peterson waiting to come off the button. 50 kilometers an hour. Musa gets the pass ahead of Peterson. Now it is a chase to the line. This is what the likes of Mahyth Musa needs to really push for the championship. This is what he needs to do to maintain a running order and take the championship to the last race. Musa needs to win this race to stay ahead of Peterson. So it is going to be a run. Well, Peterson ahead of Musa, but for Musa to take the fight to the last race for the Diamond class. Darius keeping defense, got Thomas Morton onto the back of him, and Ernest Lumbriggs closing up that gap at a rate of knots, hoping that he can also take the fight to the running order. Thomas keeping it very, very tight through the S's. That Mustang becoming an absolute brick wall to deal with. Flo Scup running first of our Platinums with David Young running in the likes of 11th, is leading out our gold. Lumbrick stuck into the dirt though, not an easy one. Tries to go for the undercut. Can he get it done? Oh, not quite. As we do see the likes of Thomas Morton not backing down from the fight. Says if you're going to go for it, you best earn it. Lumbricks is going to have to do everything he can to stay in for this fight. The Rusties colored, the Lightning McQueen Ferrari is staying on, hoping for just something. He needs these points desperately to stay in the championship fight, and he needs to get ahead of Thomas Morton, Darius, June Neville, Michael Castro. He needs to get up towards the sharp end of the field. Otherwise, it is a major, major loss. All cars have successfully done their pit stops. And let's quickly go through the gains and losses. Let's see who scored the most gains during the course of the race. And that is Christian Goch. Remember, now side by side with Ike Sky trying to get that pass on the Bentley. And gets it beautifully done. Stephen Milano James trying to close up. He has gained 16 positions. Remember, qualified first, disconnected, started stone cold last, has gained 16 positions on the run through. Biggest loss, though, has to go to David Scrudon. Unfortunately, with that penalty of 60 seconds, absolutely ripping him out of the running, and now just circulating as we do see Lewis Knight in the pits yet again. I don't think he's come out. No, he hasn't. He's got a 30-second penalty, but he is not coming out of the pits. No, bud, no. Cannot let that happen. Not at all. That is not how we want to do it. And that is not how we want to see Lewis Knight, who is our championship leader for the Golds, go and throw in the towel for the second last race of 2024. Oh, Lewis, I know you're watching, buddy. I know you tuned in. And I know you're sitting there in the pits, fuming, frustrated, angry at the performance. But you got to get back out there on track. You have to finish. You have to do it properly. You know, you're in for that championship contention. You don't know how it's going to work out. rather get back out on the track and get racing yet again. We don't want to see you stuck and out of the running, especially with 19 minutes to go. So that is a direct call out to Lewis Knight. It is not going to happen, buddy. Get your backside back in that seat. Get your backside back out on that track and get fighting nonetheless. If the likes of Dave Young, who hammered the wall, can get out on track, for David Scrudon, who got 60 seconds added to his time, can get back out on track, there is no flippin' excuse for you to sit in the pits. A driver that will call you out in a second, well, we are calling you out to get back out on track. Stephen Milana James getting past Neil Greening as they charge their way through. Milana James going to now keep up the momentum. Neil Greening not fighting too hard. He is in the Gold Championship and doesn't want to fight it out with our Diamonds. He's going to rather focus on utilizing that pull to get a bit closer to the likes of David Young, running in 12th position as it stands. So still some great racing out there, and drivers pushing the envelope as they go. Fighting within the top 10 though, Ernest Lundberg still on the back of Thomas Mutten, going and fighting their way through. And taking a look over to our virtual grandstands, David Roth even saying the exact same things, echoing the statements to Lewis Knight. Get back in, see it through. And that is a direct call out. You know what, guys, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's not often I try and use direct lines to the drivers, but in this case, we are going to use a direct line. We are going to contact the driver in question and tell him, get back out there. We want to see Lewis Knight push that little bit further into the race. So, while we take a look at Dave Young, who is onto the back of Stephen Milana James, who's managed to get by Neil Greening, getting into the fight with him. Some great racing happening out there. We're going to see if we can get hold of Lewis Knight and say, see it through. Get back in the seat. There we go. Message sent, received, and gone out to the likes of Lewis Knight to get that car back out on circuit. And he's definitely fighting it out there, saying that unfortunately the second stop go has taken that 30-second. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna, not often I get to talk about this, but I've been sending direct comms to Lewis Knight, who feels that the race is over. He's got that 30-second, that drive-through, and it took a lot out of him. I want to ask to the entire virtual grandstand out there, to every single one of you tuned in, watching it live and being a part of the show, do you want to see Lewis Knight at least get to see the checkered flag? He might be at the back of the field. He might feel that the race is done and dusted. But who wants to see Lewis Knight get back out on the circuit, the championship leader for the gold, to get himself back out there, be a part of it, and go fighting? Lewis, this is a call out to you. I'm challenging you. The entire virtual grandstands are challenging you. While we got some amazing drivers out there racing their hearts out at the moment, I will say it out here. Roth is saying go finish it. David Roth is saying go finish it. You have got everyone saying, get back out there. And whoever has communication to Lewis Knight, this is my call out to you. Send those messages. Show the driver the support from the grandstands, from the pits, from you guys at home across the world. Our drivers here need to hear your support, because when we have some tough moments like this, where you want to throw in the towel, where we're seeing some phenomenal racing out track with Christian Fingler missing out the corner, Nicholas Porras onto the back of him, we want to see these drivers, these legends, etch themselves in history. The second last race of 2024. I will not stand for it. I will put my word here. Time to see that angry weasel get out. And Lewis, you can fight me, you can get cross with me, you can get frustrated, but every single person wants to see you go and finish it, and the way it needs to be done. As we see McGuile going and fighting out against David Scrudon, who's now up a position and really doing everything he can to really keep it out on track. Nicholas Cora falling back behind Christian Goff, and will keep up the consistent drive on the way through, keeping the pressure on. Remember, Goff is in the diamond status class cars, where Nicholas Cora is in the platinum. There's no need for him to fight Christian Goff, but utilize the tow, maybe a better advantage here, unless he's feeling he's getting slowed up. They are fighting for overall positioning. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you called for it, you asked for it. Just show some love. Lewis Knight is back out on track. And you know what? That is respect earned, my friend. Lewis Knight in the Angry Weasel is going to see it through. Go, buddy, go. I love it. I love it. Nicholas Cora, though, not loving it. He's off into the dirt. Loses to Dave Young. Here comes Rolotsky onto the back of him. But we have got to do it. Let's go, Lewis Knight. Fantastic stuff. I love it. I absolutely love it. Oh, you're a chocolate milkshake and you can get cross with me later, buddy. But that is what we love to see. The zero quit. And you know what? Turn the fence for it is you all, the fans, the passionate petrol heads that are cheering these races on. Nicholas Cora all over the back of Dave Young. Christoph Rolotsky battling it out with Christian Fingler. Nicholas Porras all over the back of him. This is a fight. 14, 15. Oh, no contact. Rolotsky going off. Fingler going and getting involved in that contact. Loses out a bit of momentum. And now David Scrudon's going to try and get on by. Goes around the outside with the likes of that would be the Asimon, the 129 of Dave Young. Also trying to get on by Christian Finger, lost that position and is going as hard as he can. I'm proud of this man right now. Lewis Knight, honestly, well done, bud. Well done. That's what we want to see. Get it across the line the way it needs to be done, bud. Oh, that's what we want to see. Oh man, I've got tears in my eyes now. Thomas Morton all over the back of Darius, fighting it out for the top 5. And Thomas all over the back of Darius, looking left, looking right, doing everything he can to be a part of the show, and will be clawing his way into that top 5. Christian Fingler, though, drive-through penalty for him for track limits exceeded. He's been fighting so hard to keep it all in check, but unfortunately it did not work out for him. And he's now going to serve that drive-through penalty. Oh, David Scrudon side into the likes of Rolotsky, who got the corner wrong. Scrudon gets on by. Fingler keeps it all together. He serves that drive-through penalty and narrowly missing the pit wall. Rolotsky now dealing with Matt Gall, looking around on the inside into turn 1. Side by side they go. And an absolute charge I want to see Lewis Knight in the commentary box at the end of this. I really, really want to see him in the commentary box, and I'm actually going to put a message. Come to commentary once you crossed that finish flag. Not often I get to use that. Not often do I want to send messages out, but there is moments in a sim racer. There's moments in a racer where the chips are down and you have two ways. Walk away with the what if in the back of your head, or get up, dust yourself off, and show that you are committed to getting every bit done nonetheless. And number 30, unfortunately, coming off the circuit, that's Christian Fengler. Oh man, into the dirt, and you can see that is a very, very broken Lamborghini here. He's trying to limp around, and I think he's opted just rather get it towed back into the pits and get himself back on track. He's in there for the points, but get going, Christian. Get going. Darius and Ernest fighting it out. Ernest trying to go for the pass. Will keep the drive going as they try and make up some time. And no! That is not what we want to see. It looks like Christian Fengler disconnected. No, buddy, no. Can't happen. Christian, get your backside in there. Get going. 7 minutes to go. Get across that line. Come on. I want to see all 29 cars come across the line after some phenomenal racing, after some great side-by-side battles. I want to see those cars come across the line. I think the drivers deserve to see it. The teams deserve to see it. The petrol heads, our partners here at ERA, would like to see every person cross the line, doing everything they can. So, Christian, this is a shout out to you. No flying spaceships, buddy. Time to get that car back out on track. That's not the way we're going to end that Lamborghini. Every Italian will be disappointed if you do that. Ernest Summeriggs trying to carry on the momentum, will be clawing his way, absolutely fighting tooth and nail to try and get past Darius. These two have at it for quite some time. The 488, which was Darius's favorite car going into the race, raced it last season, opted to go to the Audi R8 to get some work done on it. Now fighting it out with Ernest Summeriggs, who came in like an absolute beast in last season, and now keeping the pressure up nonetheless as they make their way into turn one. As my call out still goes to Christian Fengler, get that car out, buddy. Get that car out. Get in there. You need to go and see it through. 5 minutes and 53 seconds to go. Mahath Musa still leading the charge. Christoph Peterson 2.8 seconds behind. Michael Castro in third. Jude Neville, Darius and Ernest Summeriggs, who we are watching currently fight it out. Nonetheless, doing everything they can as we jump off the inside of Ernest Summeriggs and onto the rear wing, who we can just see how close that 488, very, very unsteady over the curbs as it bounces around, jostling all over the show. And Thomas Morton in the Mustang, just sitting in the wings, waiting for his opportunity to go for a pass. David Young dealing with Nicholas Cora, looks on the inside, can't get that pass done and dusted as yet as they fight their way through. David Young needing to really keep on the power and see what he can do. Christoph Rolotsky, Matt Gall still clawing their way through for the fight as they try and make up some time, but Ernest Summeriggs fighting for that top five, tooth and nail, for less than 5 minutes to go in this race, and it's all or nothing on the line for the drivers to really push their way through. And what incredible racing thus far that we have seen from all our drivers. Stephen Milana James trying to go around the outside of Christian Goch and does so, gets it past and will be quite happy with that one. Christian Goch dropping down into 12th position will be less than impressed, as he has been fighting it out nonetheless. Ernest Lundbrig's chasing down Thomas Morton, now less than a second between the two ahead of him, as they've been fighting it out, slowing each other up little by little. This has been turning into a very, very difficult race for them as they make their way through. Ernest Lundbrig's immediately onto the rear spoiler of Darius as they fight their way through, pushing as hard as they can to see it to the end. The 417 though, oh, that's Thomas Hagen turned round. Stephen Milano into the dirt as well. Christian Goch coming into the pit lane right at the last. Is that Mustang sporting a bit of damage here? So Ernest Lundbrig's trying to do everything he can. 3 minutes and 25 seconds to go. We are seeing all sorts of carnage happening right at the end of this race. It is all or nothing on the line for a lot of these drivers to really score big here tonight. It is go big or go home. Second last race of the year. They really pushing as hard as they can. Oh no, Thomas Hagen in, losing it yet again right at the last. Not going to be happy with that. Nicholas Cora dealing with Nicholas Porras, and David Screwdon all over the back of him. Screwdon with 60 seconds, climbing from the bottom of the pack, is still fighting it out in 16th position. Absolutely incredible for him. Nicholas Porras fighting it out for the Buttery Biscuit V8. Nicholas Cora running in 14th with David Young just ahead of him. Ernest Lundbrig's right onto the back of Darius through the 130R. Gonna look for the inside. Second guesses it. Late on the brakes. Thomas Morton, 0.3 of a second. That Mustang constantly ripping at the top and really figuring out where it can get the jump. How late do you need to stand on the anchors? How can you get that big Mustang to gallop ahead of these two? Well, Ernest Lundbrig's right onto the back of Darius, into the toe. Darius having to be very cautious here into turn one. Double right-hander. Carries a lot of momentum through. Holds that inside line. And will continue to persevere. Lundbrig's constantly sniffing around. Now getting a little bit too close. Getting a little bit of a taste. And continues the charge. As we go and take a look at these two fighting it out. Mahath Musa still leading the charge. 0.8 of a second away from Christoph Peterson. Remember, Musa needs to win this. This is a win or lose for the championship on him. And that is going to be a huge, huge run for our drivers. Ernest Lundbrig's all over the back of Darius. The 508 landing up. That's Matt Guile down the order as he tries to get that car up and going and restarted. Some tough times out there for the entirety of the field, and it's going to come down to this. Mahath Musa, Christoph Peterson, championship could be decided tonight for our drivers, and Christoph needing to keep on the power, keep on that button as far as it can go with Mahath Musa with 48 seconds left of the race. This will be their final lap for them to make it or break it, and it's going to be all or nothing. Lundbrig's looks to close up the gap. 130R, can he get the pass done and dusted? Got to go side by side. Brave, not going to happen. Desperately was a thought, was definitely a thought running through the head. Opted, nah, that's not going to do this. Let's not make it too easy. Peterson served his time in the pits. Our champion now looking to retain the crown. If Musa gets the win here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, it means going into the final race, it will be the championship decider. If Peterson gets the win tonight, he takes the championship. That's it. It's all or nothing. It's all on the cards. It's a hard push. For Peterson, it's to end it early. For Musa, it's to carry the race one step forward, to stay in for it all as they battle their way through, heading towards the spoon. Peterson keeping right onto the back of Mahath Musa. Looks outside, looks inside, late on the anchors, third gear round, double left-hander, trying to carry a lot of momentum through. Now it's towards 130R as they keep themselves firmly pinned onto the back of one another. trying everything they can. Peterson all over the back of Mahath Musa. The BMW needs to get as wide as possible. It needs to be 2 times its size. It needs to take the bodywork of the M6 at the moment as they fight their way through. Musa late on the anchors. We do see a car stopped off as the 129 of Dave Young. Musa carries the momentum. Can it be it? Charging his way through. No getting off the gas now. Can't lift off. 0.4 as he comes across the line. Mahath Musa takes the win and continues the championship fight into the final round. Christoph Peterson taking second place. Michael Castro, Jude Neville, Darius still fighting it out with Ernest Lumbriggs and Thomas Merton as they fight their way through. Close running. Lumbriggs right into the fight there. Tries to carry the momentum. Late on the anchors. Outside. Down the gears. Thomas Morton looking for the pass. Can't get it sorted out. Only one corner to go. And it's an all-out sin. But Darius gets ahead. Lumbriggs in second place. Thomas Morton in... well, sorry, 5th, 6th, and 7th come across the line. Chris Wall, beautiful run in 8th. Flo Scub, Skirt Reynolds, Neil Greening, Stephen Milano, James, David Young still fighting out with Nicholas Cora and David Scrunon all over the back of him as they fight their way through. It is an ultimate charge for the drivers to really push their way towards the sharp end of the field. David Scrunon really all over the back of Nicholas Cora. Nicholas trying to keep on to the back of Dave Young. David needs to try and make that Porsche as wide as possible. Oh, screwed up late on the anchors. Trying to go around the outside. No work there. David Young is going to try and keep that momentum. Will finish up in 13th. Nicholas Cora in 14th. David Screwdon in 15th after such a climb. Nicholas Porras in 16th. 17th. Patrick Bars. Christoph Rolotsky. Matt Gall. Finn Van Hollen. Milan Starkov will finish up in 21st. Federico Calgero. Simon Kussert. Christian Goff, Ike Sky, Thomas Hagen, Dave Young, and ladies and gentlemen, across the line goes to Lewis Knight as we do see Milan Starkov scores a position on Finn Van Hollen through the final corner. Finn Van Hollen loses it on the final corner. What a run. What a difficult time. What a race. Highs, lows, all of it was had. Honestly, incredible driving from them all. I am through the roof with that one. I think every single person in the crowd is happy with that. I've got to have a quick sip of something to drink. My voice just couldn't take it. Apologies, everyone. But, wow. Voice just started cracking right there. As a bit of frog in the throat welled up on that. And what a run. What a moment. What an exciting time for our drivers. Does look like our highlights are giving a bit of trouble. But we've got to talk to a few drivers here. And ladies and gentlemen, one of the drivers we need to have a chat to first before we start bringing in the leaders is definitely one that became first in our hearts of note, who threw in the towel, who said, nope, I'm not climbing in the car. There's nothing you can do to tell me otherwise. That angry weasel is going to sit. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give a massive round of applause. Huge respect earned. Give it up for Lewis Knight. Lewis, absolutely respect earned of note. You and I had a little bit of a back and forth in messages, and I know that you are cross at me for doing it, but the grandstands wanted you out there. The drivers wanted you out there. The team wanted you out there. And you know what you managed to do. You got out there. You finished. You saw it to the line. I know it's not the result you wanted. I know it's one that you just... That is a gutting situation. But honestly, when the chips were down, you just showed the perseverance. And that was incredible. Lewis, I know anger is one of the emotions, but getting to see the checkered flag for the second last round in 2024 here at ERA for the Sunday Championship, after the hard work that you have done throughout the season, to finish it instead of throwing in the towel must feel like a bit of a moment.
Yeah, it's a combination of anger and sadness on my own part. Getting the DT was fine. I deserved it. I did something stupid. I went into the pits and took my pit limiter off. I was trying to flash lights at another driver to say hello to him, and must have hit my pit limiter, and that got me the first SG. And then as I went in on the second to get my first one, my pit limiter didn't even go on as I entered into the pits. Gave me my second, and at that point I was done. I didn't want to keep going after 2 SGs. And then I had a spam of messages from yourself. And then went and took a look into the actual chat and the guys who were watching, and yeah, couldn't leave the Nissan in the garage. Just had to get her out and finish it. Regardless of what happened, I had to get it to the line. So,
well, I think on behalf of everyone, it really, really a huge well done, and thank you for getting across the line. It takes a lot, but I mean, talking about our amazing petrol heads, to see the care coming in of guys wanting to see you back out on track, how does it make you feel? The emotions running through the head in there, just seeing that,
yeah,
you've got that support.
It definitely made me well up. That's for sure. Just not wanting to go back out was one thing, and then having a bunch of people trying to get me back out there definitely plays with the head and plays with the heart. And I was just, as soon as I saw as many people as it was trying to get me back out there, it's like, you got to go back out. Don't let it end on a bad note. You got to finish it. Whether you finish 7 laps down or whether you finish a lap down, finish a race. You start it, you finish it.
Well,
so
Lewis, I can say on behalf of everyone, you've earned respect. We saw Christian Fingler, unfortunately, massive accident and towel thrown in there. But you did what many drivers fear to do, and that is to see that checkered flag through and through. And I think on behalf of everyone out there in the virtual grandstands, on behalf of all the drivers, absolutely respect earned through and through. And that is the heart of ERA. You definitely embodied the heart of ERA tonight, and just that's the one thing. We've got Roth, David Roth, we've got Paul Fenter, Flores, just so many people all sending in that love and determination that you showed, and the championship. Honestly, great stuff. And you know what? You didn't get that first place, but as the MVP, the driver of the day, Lewis Knight, anything you'd like to say to our amazing partners here at ERA, our amazing petrol heads out there on the grandstands, our admins and stewards, the drivers and teams that are out on the track? Anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, the guys at ERA, they're brilliant. Anyone who's watching who doesn't race with ERA, I highly recommend getting in with them. They're a brilliant bunch of guys. Even if you go laps down, they are willing to get you back in the race regardless. And I'm very thankful for not just people in the grandstand, but obviously yourself, Stephen, the admin team, all the other drivers who were willing to be like, yeah, just finish it. Get back out there. Finish the race. Don't let it end on such a note. So, yeah.
Absolutely incredible stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up for the driver of the day, Lewis Knight, finishing the race. And this is what I would firmly believe one of the hardest races you've done in your sim racing career.
Yeah.
And you have deserved to see that checkered flag. Congratulations, bud. Go and have a more
Cheers,
chat.
mate.
Go and enjoy it. And thank you for embodying the spirit of ERA. You deserve it, buddy.
Cheers, mate. Have a good one.
It's always fantastic. Lewis Knight, everybody. Just I'm welling up for the chap. It's been that climb for him, and if you could see the messages coming through from drivers, just give him a round of applause out there in the grandstands, folks. He's well deserved that one. That is a absolute well deserved. Let's talk about others that have scored some well deserves, and let's have a chat to Flo Scub, who managed to get the win for our Platinums here tonight after some hard-fought fighting. Flo Scub is going to be coming up to the stage. Flo, absolutely fantastic run on your part. What a race, buddy. What an exciting time. I mean, nose to tail with Christian Fingler for so long in the race. Then you got into the pits. Then you were in another fight with the likes of Chris Wall, Thomas Morton, Skurt Reynolds, Neil Greening all over you, going and diving towards 130R, 4 cars in a train that landed up side by side. I mean, you must be sweating buckets coming out of that Aston Martin.
Hey Steven, yeah, I absolutely am. My fucking t-shirt is drenched, dude. It's insane. It was so much fun. It was so much fun fighting with Fengler at the beginning. So sad to hear that he dropped out of the race. We were having such a good fight. It was so close. There was some door banging in there. It was hard fighting. It was fun fighting. Really, really good. And yeah, towards the end as well. Then after the pit stop, I jumped Reynolds in the pits, I think, because he had like 5 seconds of a penalty or something.
Yes.
Yeah, but he was closing in on in the end as well. I was like, oh damn it, he's gonna catch me. The Mustang is fast on the straight here. There's a bunch of straights where the Mustang just goes and goes and goes, and yeah, you're just nothing you can do there really if he just gets by you on the straight. But yeah, no, that was a lot of fun fighting for sure.
I've got to say, absolutely phenomenal work on your part, and also some very, very close fighting and just proper nose-to-tail action that we get to see out on track. The fast and feathered getting your way through, and what it's done, looking at a rough estimate of the points, is it takes the championship fight to the last race. You came into this third place on 56 points. You've beaten Davis Grosjean, who finished down in 16th after a 60-second penalty. Christian Fingler was not able to see the checkered flag, which means you are in fighting contention into the final race of the season, the final race of 2024. I mean, there must be so much running through the head right now.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I honestly did not think we'd get this far. When we came into this race, I was 100% sure I was getting set on P3 here, with Fengler being 8 points ahead before the race. And like, yeah, I knew we were similarly paced, and I didn't think I would gain a lot of points. But then racing happened, and suddenly here we are, shooting with a loss of points as well. Fengler dropping out. I think he said earlier somewhere as well that he's going to drop out of the season as well, which is really unfortunate, because he doesn't have time to practice, I think, for the next race. But yeah, no, it's going to be a real close one in the last race. I'm looking forward to it. I'm trying not to get it into my head too much. I'm trying not to think about it too much during the practice, and I'm trying to just do my race the best I can. But yeah, 90 minutes of brands. I'm down for the fight for sure.
This is going to be elbows, knees, and toes, everything thrown in. But the fast and feathered Aston Martin coming out on top after an hour's worth of fighting. Flo, anything you would like to say to our amazing partners here at ERA, amazing admin team, stewards, and also to the drivers, the teams, and our absolutely epic petrol heads out on the grandstands? The floor is yours. The winner of our platinum here tonight.
Yeah, just a big thanks to everyone for organizing this. Stephen, for you to commentating again, you're doing such a great job. I'm always looking forward to, during the week to rewatch the stream with your commentating. You're putting so much energy into it. I'm loving it. And yeah, generally, big thanks to everyone for making this possible. It's a lot of fun every Sunday to race. It's a lot of fun during the week as well, with the little races we have that are off season as well. And yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. I'm hoping you're all joining in either on track or in the stream next Sunday to the grand finale of the season.
Well, that's it. So who's going to be able to take away the crown? Is it going to be the Fast and Feathered? Or is it going to be the Angry Weasel that's going to charge its way for gold? There's so many. Every championship is going to be on the line for the final race. So I'm really looking forward to the Floats Cup. Go and enjoy the celebrations. You earn that champagne. The Fast, the Feathered managed to get the win here at Suzuka. Go and enjoy it, buddy. You absolutely deserve it.
Thank you very much.
Floats Cup, everybody, of our Platinum stellar drive from that. But let's move on to our second place, though, who is impressed with the race, but not impressed that the championship is now down to the wire into the final race. An absolute petrol there that loves racing is now about to go and have to defend the crown for one more race. Christoph Peterson, after finishing. Chris, what a race from your side. A stellar run, but it came down to the pit stop. The 5 seconds added to that time for Mahath Musa just to get you. And you fought your way, 0.4 of a second when you guys came across the line. What a race. And how are you feeling after that? Suzuka is an amazing circuit. You're in the right car with being in the Honda. It's the home turf of the car. How are you feeling?
I'm already excited for Brands, honestly. With 5 points between us, that's beautiful for the last race. I have a suspicion on why I could close up those 5 seconds in the last stint, but I guess Muaf is speaking after me, so maybe he will tell us. What a race. Of course, I had a bit of luck because Christian Grosch disconnected after quali, or like just after quali, and so he had to start from the back, which also I think robbed him from any chances to play a factor in the title fight in the next race, which is a bit unfortunate, but after all, now we still will have a showdown. 1 lap in this race was not enough to try anything. The dirty air really killed my drive on the last lap, and also at Suzuka, like I think you usually like just need more than 1 lap to overtake a car.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, Season 10 was a bit more of a comfortable win for you. Season 11 was a little bit hot under the collar as well. We saw the championship come down to the final race, and now it's happened again for Season 12. Is there a little gremlin on the shoulder that's telling you what if? Or is the king willing to hold the crown, be the first one in for the battle, and defend the honor of being called the ERA Sunday champion?
Of course I want that 4th title. I also, like, the race phase season ended, so I have a whole week to practice for this time, and I will definitely use it. But I'm enjoying it. Like, season 10 and 11 were, I think, in the penultimate race already that I won it because of basically lucky circumstances in some ways. But in season 9, it was already down to the last race, and I had to fight against a really strong driver to win that. So it's the same feeling as it was in that season for me. And yeah, I will do my best to make the Honda as quick as possible for Brands Hatch. It's a track I haven't raced for a long time in GT3s. I think the last time I was there was when the McLaren came out in like April 23 or something. So I will have to do a lot of work to be quick there, I think.
It's going to be a good one. Really looking forward to it. Well, I'm not going to let you go as yet, but anything you would like to say to our amazing partners here at ERA, the drivers, the petrol heads, the admin team, the stewards, just all giving it everything they got for the end of 2024 to just make this season one of the biggest for 2024.
I think Flo already said most that I would say too. Like, thank you to everyone. Thanks to you. Thanks to the teams involved, to the era staff, to the community, to everyone who's watching. I hope we can give you all a show in the last race. So, see you next week.
That's going to be a great one. Don't go anywhere as yet because we're going to bring in Mahath Musa and then we want to have a bit of a weigh up. When you get to a boxing ring or MMA, that type of thing, you usually have the two weighing up against one another. So I want to try and see if we could do that, considering 5 points by the end of it. Let's bring in first place in the Project Vapor BMW, all the way from South Africa, Mahath Musa. So Mahath Musa, welcome to the stands. Absolutely congratulations. What a race. How was it, that nerve-wracking feel of seeing Christoph diving into the pits and knowing you're there, you're getting through the hairpin and you just got to keep it pinned?
Quite safety, I must say, Stephen. But yeah, it was a fun race. Definitely got lucky there with Grosh. Unfortunately, having that disconnect there at the start. And yeah, the game plan was just to keep Chris in sight. So make sure that he doesn't gap us by 5 seconds, which we managed to maintain in the first stint. And when the pit stops came around, there was a bit of traffic. We could see Chris was not struggling, but the traffic was slowing him down a bit. And yeah, we basically said, no, we're not gonna go and fight it out with traffic. Let's get the car in. And yeah, we're gonna try our best, and that's basically what we did. Did a phenomenal outlap. First 2-3 laps were also quite good. But then the third track cut came, and when the third track cut came, that's when it got even more sweaty. So yeah, it wasn't an easy one. That's for sure.
Take us through that last lap defense, because that was having to turn the M4 into an M6 in its width to fight against Honda, and you had to pull every trick out of the hat. There's some moves that I haven't seen you do for a very, very long time, Mahath. Take us through that last lap.
Yeah, so the last lap was basically let's hug the apexes. Let's keep the car there so we don't give Chris a whiff that he could maybe do a dive or anything. So we achieved that. And look, we knew we had that little bit of legs out of the corners. So that helped a lot through the hairpin. The hairpin was just to slow it down, get Chris to slow it down even further and try and pull away from him. So first objective was achieved there. And then down that back straight, basically keeping it planted, don't get any wheel spin. And hope for the best when we come up to the chicane. And yeah, we had enough legs in it there at the end to help us along. But yeah, that three track cuts definitely kept us on our toes, especially in the chicane.
Well, absolutely incredible stuff. And yeah, before we get into the ultimate standoff at this point, anything you'd like to say to our amazing partners here at ERA, our admin stewards, the amazing drivers and petrol heads that are all shouting from the rooftops to be a part of it, and also to the teams that are keeping us going?
Well, just a big thank you to everyone at ERA, everyone working behind the scenes, putting all of this together, doing a phenomenal job. So big thank you to them. Massive thank you always through to you, Stephen, for keeping the stream up and running, keeping us entertained. As always, we're going to go and rewatch the stream tomorrow. So during our lunchtime, we can put the bet on that we're going to be watching it. So big thank you to you. And yeah, big thank you to the teammates, especially Faiz for staying there with me, pushing me along. That last 10 minutes was a bit sweaty. He wasn't giving me gaps. He was just saying, you got this, just don't worry. Make sure you don't get the track cut. So big thank you and a shout out to him as well. So Yeah, and a big thank you to everyone watching on the stream. It's great to see the eyes out there cheering us along. And I mean, we saw it today with Lewis. Shows how important the crowd is. So a big thank you to them as well.
Absolutely fantastic stuff. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've actually moved Matthias to the right-hand side, and we got Chris off to the left. We kept them apart, but we're going to have that final thing, because we're going to allow the mic now, and we're going to give each of you an opportunity. 5 points in, last round. This is the last you're going to be talking to each other on air before the championship decider, to see whether the king retains the crown and holds history, or whether he's usurped at the last. So, as we go, favor to the challenger. Any last remarks to your opponent for the final race heading at Brands Hatch next weekend?
I think I'm the challenger, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what to say, eh? Chris, yeah, good luck for the final race. It's definitely going to be a sweaty one. I'll definitely put some work into trying to keep you on your toes there. It's going to take a lot from me. But yeah, I'm ready for the fight. I look forward to it. And yeah, let's see if we can put a show on for the guys.
Okay, my highest mercy, everybody. Fast, humble, and very confident in himself, but not wanting to throw any punches out there. Let's go to our defending king and see whether he's got a bit of bite to that bark. Christoph Peterson.
It's not easy. We are only rivals on track, but yeah, I'm definitely looking forward for a fight, because I think last season at Donington in the last laps, and also this last lap is a bit of a teaser what could be. I think in the 3 seasons we raced together here at ERA, we never really fought. So maybe it happens at Brands. Maybe we can give you a showdown through a bit more than just a few laps. Yeah.
The king not going and throwing the sword out, but acknowledging the challenger. Fair enough. Got two not wanting to throw the gloves down, but very well done. Both professional. Congratulations to you both. I was expecting to call the security, yeah? But thank you very much, Matthias Musso, Christoph Pearson. Congratulations on your guys' racing. Go and enjoy the celebrations. You absolutely earned it here at Suzuka. And go enjoy some of the sake that we've got here at Suzuka.
Sweet.
Thanks. See you next week.
Cheerio. Oh, well, absolutely incredible stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that does bring us to the end of the broadcast here at Evolution Racing Academy. But we're looking forward to seeing you guys. Diamond, Platinum, and Gold championships on the line. Final race of the season, not to be missed. Final race of 2024. It is going to be a wild one. 90 minutes, Brands Hatch, tight circuit, my personal favorite. And it's all or nothing for the drivers to get it to the line, ending it off in the UK, where it all started. Well, ladies and gentlemen, do not miss it. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon. We're in for a fight of none other. It's going to be the hype of Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, with the absolute brawl of Mike Tyson versus Muhammad Ali. You do not want to miss this. If you think the fight between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen went crazy, or Michael Schumacher, or even, well, let's just go back further, Prost, Ayrton Senna, Niki Lauda, James Hunt, you're about to see something entirely special. And that I can guarantee, folks. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, on behalf of myself, Stephen Koenig, and the entire THT Productions, we'd like to say a huge thank you to you guys. It's been an incredible one. We're looking forward to seeing how it's all going to turn out, and our drivers will be hard at work for their racing. But if you wish to join in all the racing and be a part of all the training that goes on, whether you need help with setups, driver training, whether you're a pro, a seasoned experience, or just a rookie that got into the sport. Do take a look at Evolution Racing Academy down in the description. Join up with us. A huge welcome to you all. It is going to be entirely a ton of fun. But like always, a massive thank you to all the drivers, teams, admin, and also to you, the petrol heads. A massive thank you to our sponsors as well for being a part of the series, going and supporting us day in and day out. DGSR that goes and supports us and is part of the endurance side of things, along with the likes of HSR. A massive thank you to AssettoHosting.com for going and allowing our servers to be up day in and day out to ensure that we can bring all the racing to you live on your screens, and IMB Raceware that goes and gives us some of the best quality sim racing apparel you will need. Gloves, boots, shirts, all of it. Go and take a look at ITB. But ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the race. Enjoy the rest. And we'll see you next week for the championship decider in 3 different classes right here on YouTube. Subscribe, bell notification icon. Let us know what's your favorite part and show some love for Lewis Knight coming across the line no matter what. You guys dictated the enjoyment of the race. You guys brought a driver back on track. And like always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody.